Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙗𝙠. So, Canada's National Security Advisor has said that India is interfering in the internal affairs of Canada. Before we get into the crux of this, the reasons and possible outcomes, I just want you to please like this video. And if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please do so. And whenever you get the bell notification, do click on that so that on your cell phone, you will get all your notifications. So to understand what is going on right now, Canada is in deep doldrums in terms of its economy. And this NSA warning is not something that is new. It was given a few months ago, yet suddenly it has sprung up. So it's like, they are rehashing something that had happened many months ago. So let's just take a quick look at what has been happening in the past few months as far as Khalistanis are concerned, as far as the politics of Canada are concerned. So we'll just take a quick look at it. First, look at the initial condition, and then we can draw some conclusions. And I will take a few questions if I have time. So here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. And Justin Trudeau is the guy about a couple of years ago when the farmers' agitation was going on, December 2020, if I remember correctly, he expressed his support to the farmers' agitation happening in Punjab. What business does he have to go and say that, yes, these people deserve our support? Nobody asked that question. In fact, I was one of the few who had asked this question in PGurus, that it is none of your business because Modi never comes and weighs in on what is going on in your part of the world. Especially, I asked that question when the trucker strike was going on. To understand the trucker strike, understand this, guys. 60% of all the truckers in United States and Canada are essentially Sardars, Sikhs. Okay, and the same Trudeau, with Jagmeet Singh's support, essentially froze the bank accounts of all these truck drivers in an effort to break up that agitation. So when it comes to saving your own skin, they will throw anyone under the bus. I hope my Sardar brothers and sisters understand and listen to this program to know what kind of a politicians they have got, whether it is Trudeau or Jagmeet Singh. These are all the same bunch. Same selfish people who will do anything just to stay in power. Anyway, so this is Justin Trudeau for you. Now, there is other interesting stuff about internal affairs. I'm going to touch upon that. Who is Jody Thomas? Jody Thomas was a career bureaucrat who has now become the National Security Advisor. Now, when this notification about meddling in internal affairs was concerned, she's a bureaucrat. She can quote section this, you did this, and therefore this could be called as an interference, something like that. They might have given a communication to the Indian consulate saying, because this, you did meddle in internal affairs. I'm just making this up. I have no idea if it happened that way or not. But take a step back and look at the big picture. What happened? In 2014, when Modi came to power, he did a very nice gesture for many Khalistanis who were stuck, whether it was in UK or US or Canada or even in Pakistan, who could never return back to India. All these people had no entry into India. And as an act of goodwill, when they came and asked, especially I remember saying that, hearing that some of the Babar Khalsa people in Pakistan who were all in their 70s and 80s, they said, we are being very ill-treated in Pakistan because Pakistan had lost use for them. We are ill-treated in Pakistan. We would like to come and die in Punjab. So some people came in that way, and some people came from the United States as well as in Canada. They were all given visas to go back to India. Guess what happened? When the farmers' strike was going on, it was found that some of these people who had gone back to India were in fact funding that agitation, and they were actively inciting people. People tell me that from 2018 up until the 2023 elections, if you drove around in Punjab, anywhere, the younger generation was so indoctrinated with Khalistan, that you never could get away from this. If you were riding an Uber car, you got an earful of invective. And there is no basis. So why did this happen? Because this happened because the polity at that time, it was Captain Amrinder Singh, you can allow freedom of speech for some time. But if the same lie is being told over and over, again and again, something has to be done to stop that. That didn't happen. And therefore, when it was found that these people were caught aiding and abetting the Khalistani agitation. Some of their OCA cards, in fact, were also cancelled, and they cannot go back to India again. So some of these people clearly are disgruntled, and they are also upset that the United States is cracking down on the Khalistani movement. The United States has become quite normal. Now India is turning the heat on. It has turned the heat on UK, on Australia, and probably they are also telling Canada, look, if you want to do business with us, you have to do all these things. You have to rein in all these Khalistanis. There is no other way. By the way, the next generation, these people have never set foot in Punjab, yet they will talk as if Khalistan is something that is their birthright. Give them the Khalistan and say, go settle there. Not one of them will move from here. This was a question that a very famous reporter in Canada asked. How many of you will settle in Khalistan, assuming you get Khalistan? Now, the other problem for the Trudeau administration or any Canadian administration is this groundswell of movement is going to start becoming bigger and bigger, and they will demand a Khalistan within the geographical limits of Canada itself. I'm just guessing this. This is my guess. I'm not saying that I have intel to prove this, because this is how these things happen. You have to act swiftly, and you have to take care of and address the root problem. Jagmeet Singh, this person is an Amritpal supporter. Jagmeet Singh now sees Amritpal being arrested and kept in prison in Dibrugarh. Maybe somebody saying, well, you need to kindle this thing, so why don't you go and nudge, wink, wink, tell Trudeau to tell the NSA to lean on India. So all these players are there. Mr. Jagmeet Singh doesn't even know what the meaning of swastika is. I had to give a separate video just to explain to him that swastika or 𝙒𝙗𝙖𝙩𝙨 or good life was nothing but taking a snapshot of the 7 stars and when in 4 points in a year, spring, winter, autumn, you get the idea. In fact, I've shown you the picture. When these stars rotate around the pole star, if you look at the envelope, that's what is the shape of the swastika. That's why India's swastika always has an edge at the top. It's not a straight line like the hook and crows of the Nazi empire. So what happened in Canada election? Now I'm coming to the crux of who really interfered in China's affairs. Canada's affairs. It was China. China allegedly has police stations in Canada. I mean, this has been proven. In US, they finally cracked down the one that they had in New York City. Finally. And we still don't know where that is operating in San Francisco. People say that there is one, but we still don't know where that is located. So that is still, the search is still on. The San Francisco police is also aiding, but I think this is more of a federal matter. Anyway, 11 candidates in the Canadian election were supported by China in the 2019 federal elections. In one case, $250,000 was directed through an official. Now, this is general 2019 elections. Now you take a look at Mr. Justin Trudeau's own foundation. This is the name. This is being operated in the name of Trudeau's father, Pierre Trudeau. Now, 2 checks, $70,000 each, were sent to this foundation allegedly from somebody from China. And they when it was caught, a couple of newspapers reported it. They even found the name. The name of the person was Zhang Bin, a businessman who was later identified by the newspapers as being linked to the Chinese government, pledged in 2016 to donate up to $200,000. Only $140,000 made it. Now, these checks, after they were identified, they couldn't be returned because there was no return address. So suddenly Justin Trudeau also is trying to cover up this stuff. This thing came up about a few months ago. So you have all the people who have interest in trying to divert attention away from problems that are their own. Is it Justin Trudeau who's telling his NSA to say, okay, no, I want you to, nudge India, or is India now applying pressure on Canada to say, give up, cough up these Khalistanis? They give them a list. Say, we need all these things, all these people to come back. They need to stand trial in a court of law in India. There's one other interesting thing that's happened. Remember the guy who tore down the flag in the Indian consulate, Indian High Commission in London? What happened a few days later was his village, they had a property that was encroaching, and the Punjab government bulldozed that encroachment. And they were jumping up and down, you did this, you did this. This is what is this punishment. Now, there are many people. Why do you think the Canadian Sikhs bothered about the farmers' agitation in Punjab? Were these people the ones who are actually owning the land and having somebody else till it for them? And they had a certain arrangement in place, and they didn't want that arrangement to be disturbed. Ergo, they bring in money, especially from Canada, to try and foment trouble. Is this what happened? In fact, you saw that they went to Red Fort and they even raised and put the Khalistani flag there. A lot of Delhi police were asked to stay silent. They, in fact, when the tractor drove at them, they had to jump into the moat, and some of them had broken bones. Who's going to pay for all their medical care? So things are becoming hot. India is beginning to turn the screws on Canada. Now, Canada could be trying to push back, saying that, well, you are meddling in internal affairs of Canada. Look, you threw the first punch. Mr. Justin Trudeau, you threw the first punch. You had no business commenting about the farmers' agitation in India. Having done that, and then Jagmeet Singh is just your Sancho Panza. Who cares? This guy is full of wool in his head. Doesn't even know swastika, which is also sacred in Sikhism. So when you have these kinds of Sancho Panzas, you don't need enemies. My point, I think, is that I think India knows what it's doing. Just wait and see what happens. And I think that India is also waiting for UK to, cough up their Khalistanis. You see, UK is coming, but they are coming kicking and screaming. BBC finally acknowledged that there is a problem indeed. So you have to give them time, but India is winning all these things. These are all wars. It's taking time. I'm not saying that you're going to win everyone, but I think this is where the root of the problem lies. Now I'll take some questions from you guys. Muthuswamy says, terminate relationship with Canada immediately. Muthuswamy, there is no need to terminate relationships over this. There's also one other problem I forgot to mention to you guys. Canada is threatening to return 700 students who went from Punjab to study in Canadian universities. This happened 4 or 5 years ago, 2017, 2018. They've all graduated. Now they have applied for permanent residency. And it's that time that they found out that these were all fake letters, and there was a lot of things that fakery that has gone about. Each student is rumored to have paid 16 lakhs per student to an agency in Jalandhar who did all this faking stuff. So now India might be saying, well, we don't know. How did you let them in? It's your mistake, because this is 5 years ago. So now all these people are trying to get regularized in the Canadian system. They want to get green cards. And now they are caught. So they are going to be all deported. So India will probably also, I don't think India will act on them in any criminal intent, because they got fooled by an agency. For sure, that agency guy must be jailed. And a lot more things have to happen. But more importantly, Canada is a developed country, right? Are you telling me, dear Canada, that you couldn't figure out that some of these things were fake? The invitation letter from a university was a fake? That everything was made up? You couldn't figure that out? So there is a certain amount of anxiousness to let all these students in, because they're paying fees. Some of these universities depend on foreign students' tuition. So whatever it is, there's a lot of stuff that is going on. What you are seeing on the surface is this one problem, but all these things will get sorted out in due course of time. Pawan Kishore wants to know, can India risk to stop trade with Canada? Do we have any win-win situation with current trade deals? What effects will it be if we have stopped trade with Canada? Canada is not a major trading partner with India. However, the fact that many of the Indian students come there for studies, also remember, getting immigration into Canada is relatively easy. They need people. They don't have a lot of population. Their procreation rate is not very high. So some of those things will work in your favor if you decide to settle down in Canada. But Canada is not US. The opportunities are not that many. So you will have to figure out what you will do, assuming you want to settle down in Canada permanently. So there is that point. But other than that, I think there are some exports from Canada that India gets. And I don't think India is going to be that depressed if those things stop. Canada needs India more than India needing Canada. Remember one Daily Global Insights I did with 𝙒𝙗𝙤𝙦 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙧, where we said that the next 2 years or 3 years, the total growth in the world, 27% of that growth is going to come from India. So whatever goods all these countries have, they have to sell it to India. So India is sitting in a very nice position in terms of picking and choosing who they want to trade with. So this is going to be the situation for the next 2 to 3 years. So let's see how it goes. Stoneforce20 wants to know, this may be extreme, but why not we invite the Quebec separatists to hold a referendum here live from India? India doesn't have that. India never looks at something like this. They are very happy. And I don't think we should do a tit for tat on these things. See, there are many ways to deal with this. You saw how India put Malaysia in its place. Mahathir Mohamad lost his job after that. They just stopped importing palm oil. They had to line up their ducks first. They had to find out an alternate supply. And they just stopped buying palm oil from Malaysia. Same thing, India can identify what are the things that India is importing from Canada, find an alternate source. With recession around the world, everybody will be chomping at the bit to give it to India, and then you just sideline Canada. Let them deal with Khalistan. Who cares? Justin Trudeau has a habit of interfering in other countries, and it's very sad that something like that is happening. Here we go. Next question. Rahul Kulkarni wants to know, the main reason is US is allowing India to occupy policing role in Indo-Pacific, which means US will interfere more in Mexico and Canada. That's why Canadians are upset. But why show it on India? Rahul, I am missing that point there. Ramesh Vasudevan wants to know, is the 700 students cause trouble during 2024 elections in case deported? No. Why would they cause trouble? They all have now up to here, they are in debt. They fake their certificates because that means they are not really educated. They probably won't be able to get jobs, even in India. It's a huge problem. First, they need to find that guy and shut him down and throw him in jail for fooling so many people. 16 lakhs per person, per student. 16 lakhs times 700. You do the math, guys. How much money was spent by these guys? I feel sorry for them, but at the same time, they knew they were cheating. They are not going to get that money back. They are not going to be prosecuted in India. They'll have to figure out a way to rediscover their life. That's all I can say. Doesn't FTA with UK or Canada lost India? No, not really, Jolly Mail. The reason is India has free labor of the kind that they need. For example, whether it's Canada or United Kingdom, the programming skills, there are lots of maintenance jobs that are requiring people's resources. Whenever you have an FTA, you will have some sort of a special corridor where they can come and work on a work permit for 2-3 years with some special tax concessions and things of that nature. That's what I think India is trying to give. And the United Kingdom, for maintaining some of their older systems, they do need manpower, so they can make use of that. Not only that, UK may want to sell some things to India. For example, their the ARM Holdings is a UK company. They have a processor that walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, meaning it walks like an Intel CPU, quacks like an Intel CPU. In fact, Apple has made some laptops on that ARM processor. So who knows? India might get its own ARM processor licensing, and they can build their own computers without using Intel. So a lot of things are possible. So I don't know exactly where the terms are, the deal are. I know India is hanging out right now. India is the one in a stronger position. We have to wait and see where the final deal rests at. Thank you, Naman Kanpal. With so many Indians settling in California or Canada, I don't know which one, situation isn't faring up to be conducive for Indians. Is it still safe work to migrate? Should we just stick to PR or convert to full citizen for this? Uh, Naman, see, at some level, you will have to figure out a way for yourself. There is going to be no safety net. You get a green card, but you will have to figure out what you're going to do with it, what skill set you have that you will be able to get a job. So you need to answer that question. After that, you can decide whether you want to be a permanent resident or a citizen. I don't think either one hurts much. Canada has a very good hospital system. Medical system is very good. I think it is free, if I remember correctly. So, but their housing is not great. The taxation on the house, they don't give you any benefits for EMI, for example. That used to be the case. I don't know if it's changed now or not. Lots of things are changing. Canada needs more people. Their population isn't growing as fast as they would like it to. So you don't know. Maybe you'll have a nice future there. Good luck. Pawan Kishore wants to know, in the current world of Axis powers and NATO, is it good idea to be neutral or should we pick a side? If we should, which side should India be? I have always said that India should be on the side of United States, just because China can be, you can say US can't be trusted, China even less so. So India needs to really make up its mind. When Prime Minister said that we want to be Atmanirbhar, what was he saying? What he was concerned about was even Ganeshas were coming from China. For Ganesh Chaturthi, Ganeshas were coming from China. Clay made Ganeshas. So that is where the concern is. Even those little low-tech things India had stopped manufacturing. So you have to start there and start manufacturing, get your base up, consume what you are making, and then you become relatively less dependent on other countries for your livelihood. Stone 420 again. Is Trudeau Indian diplomacy basically shaped by China and Khalistanis? Well, it's possible. It is possible that is what it is. You also saw that one really vile float. I don't know why India hasn't responded or registered a complaint against that. That was again totally uncalled for, and maybe they'll find something in as a response, as a surprise. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Anyway, so Trudeau's diplomacy, he is totally dependent on the NDP for support. If NDP withdraws support, his party collapses, and he'll not be able to become prime minister again. So we have to wait and see how the Conservatives play this game. They are the ones who should decide that, okay, we need to now start asserting ourselves. But more importantly, this is the same problem that Sweden had too. They keep importing people of a particular type because they feel that if they bring in this kind of an ethnic community, they, after becoming voters, will vote for them. So that is a problem though, because then it becomes one-sided. Only Labour, Liberal Party, only Trudeau will be the prime minister, and the other side will never get a chance to vote. So it is alarming if that is allowed to happen. All right, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.